and stuff. Um, but it's just so superficial, I guess, in how it's handled.
Right. Or they're understanding, but then they just feel the need to say, like, everyone wants to put in their 2 cents.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, if you understand and you understand that that's their opinion, even if you disagree, just there
Keep
has
to
to be a degree.
yourself.
There has to be a degree of brushing it off, meaning
Hmm.
brushing their opinion off, not brushing the situation off. Which is why I think the situations are not invalid. I think the how we handle it is ridiculous. And I'm curious to see in 10 years where this all goes. And I'm sure the few people there will still be pushing for change. And I appreciate those humans wherever they are. But I do think the majority are just whining, which I guess to me, it's like the whiners. The reason I think this is an issue is not because the whiners just want to whine about a topic or bring a topic to light. It's more about they're whining about so many things that the people who do care or the people who are looking at it just don't know what's important. It's like
Yeah.
what is even what's happening now, what's not, what's important, who do I listen to? Are you actually in trouble? Like,
Right.
are you just having a bad day or are you actually depressed? I don't
Yeah.
know. And but I'm not going to sit here and just like every freaking depressing status you put,
Right.
when there's
Yeah.
people out there actually struggling.
Yeah.
Um I
Privately.
just feel privately. I just think there's like it's so blurred that you don't know what to believe in anymore. I think social media is heavily responsible, if not
Yeah.
completely, for
Yeah.
all of it.
I know. And I guess I feel like it relates too to like a lack of like true self-awareness because one, it's probably a post you saw from someone else that you're sharing or like that you're jumping on the bandwagon of. So it's not from you. But even then, like, is it only coming up when you're on your phone? Or is it part of your day and your conversations and like what you're working on throughout the day, your task list? Like, and I don't know that it probably is for most people. I think it probably is just something that they care about when they're on a platform that is flooding their feed with similar things. Like,
Or a topic to talk about with their friends, even if they're
or
not.
something that's, yeah,
Yeah.
popular. But I don't know. I guess overall, I feel like we are too sensitive as a society. And I even just say that from my example of the ma'am thing. Like, I'm not even talking about the
Mm-hmm.
extreme cases or trending topics, but the ma'am thing, I remember my mom being like that when I was younger, where she hated when people called her ma'am. And now that I look back, I'm just like, who gives a shit? um, and I guess that relates to the whole movement with like being non-binary or a transgender or kind of like bridging between certain genders or sexualities, but which honestly I don't even feel comfortable talking about at all because I feel like the sensitivity level of people in that world is way too high to even attempt to talk about it in an open way.
Which
Like,
actually, I really think the sensitivity of it, I feel like, is talkable about, not so much your opinion. But I guess I just think I
I
grew
mean,
up
the people we'd be speaking to though, in terms of that
are
popular,
sensitive
are
about
so
it.
sensitive. Yeah, that like I wouldn't want to offend anyone, and I feel like they're almost looking for it. Like they're looking to be offended.
I just feel like things. I'm just gonna go with a superficial part of it, which is meaning like trying to enact change. And again, I'm talking to this extreme, talking to this extreme, and you're here. The people in the middle will. I feel like we're in the middle, so we're like, oh, okay, you're trans, perfect. Now I have to be more respectful of that, whether I'm in the bathroom somewhere or, asking you, whatever. But I also think you want to change people's minds, but you're introducing the word they, which it's not boy, it's not girl, it's a plural.
Yeah, like in grammar, that was always taught as like an incorrect thing to use.
Correct. So if you really want to be a non-binary term, yes, you can choose your own term, but they should not be a word. It should be another word, whatever word you want. I've seen "zer," I've seen other things. Like, why is they the one? So I'm just saying to anyone on the extreme side, you lost them. You lost them. Because
Yeah,
you're going to
right.
tell me not something I learned in grammar as boy or girl, but something that I learned as singular or plural
Plural.
is now singular. So, no. And so what do I use for plural? And also, if you're going to use they, tell me what I now use for plural.
Right. Or
So,
or I guess it takes away from their position because you're trying to show that it's important to you and it's something that you're going through, like the transition itself, but you're just going to say they. Like that's so,
right.
I don't know. I don't feel like it conveys the right message or impact that they're probably trying to convey to other people. And it's like, it's because you chose a bad word.
Right. So then I'm like, you worked so hard to start a movement, to now have your voice heard, and you're going to lose people at that. You're going to
Yeah.
lose people at that. Literally. You are losing people at that. So I'm
Right.
not undervaluing the importance of the topic. I just think it's like when you open a business, no, J-Lo, I think, had a movie called Geely. Gigli. It was a flop, mainly because of the title. No one could say the title. So you're going to put all this work into something, follow through, put time, effort, money into whatever it is, and want people to respect your life. And then you're part of a movement that uses grammar incorrectly.
Right. Yeah.
And you want to blame it on, oh, this is how society has been. But that one, the main word you want to use is not about how society has been in that way, in terms of male or female. Like, so I just feel like,
But I feel like the whole purpose of he and she and they is to use it
clarify.
correctly in communicating to a friend or to the person or to whoever. When you refer to someone, you now know if they're a he or she, or if it's a group, then it'd be they. But that's also where I feel like it's not super important. Like if someone straight up called me purple, like I wouldn't care because I know I'm Sasha. Like I know who I am, that I don't really care what people refer to me as because I won't be offended.
You wouldn't be offended if someone stopped saying he to you?
I mean, yeah, if they like also treated me like a boy or something, then yes, and I wasn't
Maybe how they
actually a
treat
boy.
you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it would matter more how they treat me or like the context of what they're saying. But if but if I did look like a boy and they were saying that, I honestly wouldn't get offended. I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, but I am a girl. And then
But
I
I
would move
think
the fuck on.
they is more equivalent to it, where it's unclear. Right. You're like, well, are you talking about a dog, a cat, a human, a candle? Like, what is it? So what is they? Like,
well, I guess I just mean like I've seen a lot of like profiles and things that indicate he or she, and I feel like I never used to see that.
Well,
it
yeah,
was never
because
a
now,
thing.
Yeah,
right. But it's like your profile picture should say it all, and if not, like who gives a shit? Like I don't know. What's your name? Just like
yeah. What is your name? Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting, I guess, in terms of sensitivity that we're putting so much emphasis on that, where it's like we should just all be human. Like I feel like we're amping up the meaning of these words like ma'am or they or whatever it is because we're being sensitive about it, when really it's like we're all just humans. Like it doesn't matter. It's like just be understanding, let shit go, brush it off. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like be happy. Like it just because then it just leads to them complaining and bitching. But it's like, if you were understanding of the person that might have said he or she, then that might have not been your reaction. And then you'd feel a lot better personally. Like you'd be sitting at home chilling instead of all pissed off, texting your friends, complaining about stuff. Like, I don't know.
I feel like it's used. Sorry, we have a comment.
Yeah.
Language changes. Languages change generally. Oh my gosh, I cannot read.
Generationally.
Thank you. They, them is the most moderate change that could have been. They, them is used almost reflexively at this point in situations when you don't know the person too much. I do agree that it is the go-to, but I do think it's confusing. Like, so what happens if I
Well,
am
I
referring
think
to
I
a
think
group of
what you're
people.
saying is if this is their mission and they is connected to that mission, does it effectively communicate that mission? Is that what you're saying? Where it's like it's about identity and it's about
Well, to me, okay,
transitioning.
let's say you don't know who I'm talking about, and you don't know how many people I'm talking about, and I'm telling you a story. La 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 la. They came over the other day, and you're thinking this whole time I'm telling a story, you're thinking like 3 people came over. You
Right,
know?
right.
So then
Yeah.
I'm here and da, 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 and blah blah did this, and the whole time you're like, okay, but what was the other person doing? That's one example. The other example is they are they just human,
Right.
non-binary, male, female, TBD. Does that not matter? Maybe that doesn't matter. But I think even just the initial thing between um, multiple versus singular, I just think there
I
should be
like what they're
another word.
saying. I like what they're saying though about language changing generationally and that it was like the most moderate change it
Yes.
could have been. And I do think because of that there could be a third or fourth phase of the language used surrounding this topic. And maybe that's like they just chose they at the moment because it was the best option, but maybe they will find better options for it or maybe transition into like a different way of categorizing it or something.
Well,
And yeah, I mean
I've seen other ones. I guess I just wish that would have been in terms of a movement. I wish that would have been a go-to to pick a different word because I think a lot more people would have been more receptive to it. I think the people in the middle, like us, like we okay,
I
you
see
want
what
me to
you're
say
saying.
that? Yeah. But I can
Right.
see some extreme people that I have dated literally roll their eyes just because that didn't
The
make
word.
sense. And I'm like, you
Right.
lost a whole group and you could have caught them. I know it sounds like a
Right.
marketing thing, but I think if you're going to make a movement or bring attention to it, that is important because I hate that we lose people like that just because of that.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah, like the extreme people
Like
on the
literally
other
people going,
side.
oh, they, them, whatever. And I'm like, that's so rude because these
Right.
people are also going through something, you know? But also, I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you to call.
Right, right.
So there's like this thing. So, anyway.